Sporting Kansas City take on the San Jose Earthquakes in the U.S. Open Cup semifinal. Who's going to be missing for the match? Who do I think is going to win? And what are the starting lineups going to be? Stay tuned to find out what I think about that. Okay, let's get started. Nathan Mall, Kansas Sports TV here, the #1 sports news channel for your Kansas sports news. And Sporting Kansas City has made it to the semifinals to face San Jose at Children's Mercy Park in the U.S. Open Cup Finals. And we'll start this match preview right away as we talk about the recent form of both teams. Now, Sporting Kansas City in the last 5 games has two. So they've draw, win, draw, win, draw. Do you know the next step in the pattern? Have you gone to elementary school yet? I think that's called a W and a win. I'm probably going to regret saying that. I'm knocking on wood. Ready? Real wood over here, but Sporting Kansas City take out San Jose Earthquakes with decent form, 21 games unbeaten in all competitions at home, and 12 games unbeaten in all competitions home and away. So Sporting Kansas City are looking really good in recent form, even though they had a disappointing 1-1 draw with Atlanta United in their first ever matchup. The first ever game Sporting Kansas City's played a VAR. Giving up a 90th minute goal to Jacob Peterson, the former Sporting player. And if you want to see my reaction, I'll put it up in the card above. The match day experience of me going to the game. It was disappointing, but it was still a draw nonetheless, and still not the worst result. Let's get into San Jose Earthquakes' recent form. In the last 5 games, San Jose has won 3 of their 5 games and lost 2. They've won, then they lost, then they lost, then they won, then they won. Their last one was a 2-1 win against Columbus Crew, and it was a great match for them. They needed that 3 points to try to stay in that 6th place and stay in the wild card race for the wild card spots in the MLS playoffs, and they're sitting right on the edge right now, so we'll see if they can do it. And technically they're really not that far above the top spots, as the top teams are kind of faltering right now. So let's get into both teams' recent U.S. Open Cup form. Now, Sporting Kansas City won their last game 3-0 in dramatic fashion, 86 minutes with 10 men. I was at the game. I didn't get there the halftime because I had football practice before, but got a red card in like the 15th minute, 12th minute. Sefcovic, who's not going to be able to play. And we got all the way to the stoppage time, scored a goal, and then they got a red card, and then we scored another goal, and they got a red. Rudy got bicycled like a part in the game. Oh, I could keep going on. I don't even know if I said those in the right order because it was just such feels and atmosphere. I'll put a clip of Kevin Ellis that I recorded hugging the fans after the game. The atmosphere was just litty as it can get, if you can't think of a better word to use. And then, so let's get into San Jose's recent form in the U.S. Open Cup. They had a 3-2 win against LA Galaxy. They were down 1-0. Then they scored 2 goals with Lewandowski in the brace. And then Posen, their other striker, scored. They get a 3-1 and make sure they got the win, as late in the game, LA Galaxy got a second goal, but they weren't able to compete on the day. They really didn't deserve to get through. San Jose deserved to get through in the day, and that's what San Jose did. Now, the top goal scorers for both teams in the MLS and the U.S. Open Cup. That's what I'm going to be talking about next. So, the top goal scorer in the Sporting Kansas City for the U.S. Open Cup is Latif Blessing. He has 2 goals and an assist. All 3 of those coming in the last match against FC Dallas, as he scored 2 goals in the extra time, and then he got the assist to Shallowy. And to be honest, he really should have had a hat-trick in that game. And then for the top goal scorer in the MLS, it's Joseph Fernandez as Dom Dwyer's left, even though he was not the top goal scorer anyway. So Joseph Fernandez is our top goal scorer in the MLS, and he's doing really well in the MLS. He had a really poor game against Atlanta, missing wide open chances against a suspect keeper, in my opinion, of Brad Guzan. 1-1, can't even put the ball on target. Anybody should be doing that if they're an attacker. It was really disappointing. Hopefully he knocked that rust off. But he's our top goal scorer there. Now let's get into San Jose's top scorer in MLS and in the U.S. Open Cup. So San Jose, their top goal scorer in the U.S. Open Cup, is tied with Wondolowski and Posen with 2. And in the MLS, Wondolowski is the top goal scorer. Wondolowski is a guy we're going to have to worry about. He can definitely put the ball in the back of the net if he gets his chances. And Hosen seems like he's turned out to be a decent striker too. I don't know as much about him. Now we talk about the recent form, the recent U.S. Open Cup form, and the top goal scorers. Let's talk about the recent matchups in between these 2 teams. So Sporting Kansas City have played San Jose Earthquakes twice in the season, beating them 2-1 in the first matchup early in the season, and then in the second game drawing 0-0 away, and that was a really disappointing result considering that Grim Zusi had a wide open 1-1 in the 90th minute. And yes, you might know him as a right back right now, but he's a left winger that used to score plenty of goals from outside the box even with Sporting Kansas City not that long ago. and he completely fluffed his lines. I mean, he didn't completely. He hit it close enough to the keeper where he could just tip it around, and he really should have never had a chance. That's why I say he fluffed his lines anyways, even though he didn't miss the target like Jerso did in the last Atlanta game, but it was really disappointing. So that was a 0-0 draw. Sporting Kansas City had 15 shots to 4. Really should have won that game. Or no, it's 14-5. Whatever. Should have won that game anyways. And Sporting Kansas City, really disappointed. But that's a good sign for Sporting Kansas City going into this matchup. They played really well against San Jose Earthquakes. So it's a really good sign that Sporting Kansas City is playing good against San Jose Earthquakes this year. Now we talk about the recent form between the two teams. Let's talk about the history at Children's Mercy Park where the game will be played. Sporting Kansas City has only lost once in 27 matches, or 28 matches, ever at Children's Mercy Park against the Earthquakes. That one loss came in 2015 in the MLS. They're 18-1-9. Great results against. So based off recent results and results in the past history of all time, Sporting Kansas City should be able to come out this win. We all know that the game of soccer doesn't work that way. Sporting Kansas City. Now we talked about all that. Let's talk about the way I think both teams will set up and play. I think Sporting Kansas City will set in the 4-3-3 in the first 5 minutes of this video. If you can tell me the last game we didn't play 4-3-3 in, I'll give you $10. But anyways, you're not going to do it. The Sporting Kansas City always plays 4-3-3 with Peter Vermees. So now we got San Jose Earthquakes, who I think are going to play a 3-5-2 from reading up on them because of injuries and stuff. I don't know what they're going to exactly play, but that's what I'm going to guess. I think they'll try to sit back and attack with their fullbacks and counterattacks, which I think is probably the way to go, is to park the bus and then maybe look for the chance to counterattack. I think it's the best way to play against Sporting Kansas City. We saw what happened with the Chicago Fire, who looked to attack. We scored 3 against them in those 20 minutes that they tried to attack us, and then they learned their lesson. And it looks like Atlanta United kind of learned their lesson, and they sat back a little bit more against us in the last game, and they were able to keep a clean sheet for most of the time. You see it's giving up a PK, even though we should have scored more than that. And the PK, yes, it was sort of soft, but even though it was a soft PK, I still think it was a PK. Sporting Kansas City should be able to keep most of possession with that formation. I think San Jose Earthquakes are looking to bring those fullbacks in the 3-5-2 back. We play more like a 5-3-2 with advancing into a 3-5-2, I believe. Sporting Kansas City, I think, will have about 60% possession to 40 in the match. And I think that Sporting Kansas City will have the majority of shots. If San Jose can break down Sporting Kansas City on the counter, that's what we have to worry about. So now talking about the injuries and the suspensions in the Sporting Kansas City versus San Jose game. Sporting Kansas City are only missing one player that really would be playing anyways, and they're missing one other player. So Sporting Kansas City are missing Sestanovic due to the red card in the last match. That's why we lost when we went down to 10 men. And so we're really going to be missing him. He's obviously our best left back, and we're the best defense in the MLS. So if he's our best left back, the best defense in the MLS, then that's a really big blow, obviously. And so Jimmy Madron, though, will most likely play at left back. Then we're also going to be missing Cameron Porter, who's out for the rest of the season, but he wouldn't really be playing anyway, so does it really matter? I'm not quite sure about that, because he would be like the third-string striker. Hopefully ahead of Sonny Sod, or maybe I will lose hope in Peter Vermees, even though I have complete trust in him. I might just lose hope right away. But that's enough on Sonny Sod. I'll get off of that. But San Jose are going to be missing quite a few players. Harold Cummings, Mark Pelosi, I'm going to mispronounce these names. Annabelle Godoy, Jamir Haitka, and Kip Colvin. They're missing all those players. The last two might be playing. They're questionable. And so Sporting Kansas City is looking to exploit these weaknesses. And supposedly, I played a FIFA 17 prediction match, and that link card to that video, geez, I can't speak, will be up above. But Sporting Kansas City played with most of their higher-rated players were still in the starting 11 in FIFA, which FIFA is not that accurate, but usually if you have a high-rated player in FIFA and MLS team, usually they're one of the better players in the team in MLS. But for San Jose, quite a few of the people who are not in the injury list that I have in front of me, they're not playing in that starting 11 and predicted by multiple sources, and the one I'm kind of going with. So I can't believe that some of those players aren't starting. I don't know if there's just been some rotation in the squad. Those players haven't played good. I mean, they're not doing great, but they're not doing bad, because that's what I'm going to talk about next, where they are in the standings. But, man, I'm surprised. I'm surprised at some of those players that are, like, high-rated in FIFA. Usually those players are halfway decent. They're not playing in the starting 11 that people are predicting. So that was really surprising to me. So the rotation with San Jose seems to be a little bit off. So we'll talk about my starting prediction for their starting 11. And if you look at the card above, again, there should be a link to the prediction 11, my preferred XL video against San Jose Earthquakes for Sporting Kansas City. not going to talk about the injury suspensions. Let's talk about the teams and how they stand in the league. So Sporting Kansas City are obviously on top of the Western Conference. I think they're 5th in total in the league. And Sporting Kansas City has 9 draws. So Sporting Kansas City has 10 wins, 9 draws. Okay, Sporting Kansas City has 9 wins, 10 draws, and 4 losses. 37 points on the season. And it's looking really good for Sporting Kansas City. Even though teams are starting to catch up because we're drawing so much, we really need to pick up our form and start winning some more games instead of drawing so many games. Now, San Jose Earthquakes are in 6th place in the Western Conference, just above the playoff line by 1 point against Vancouver Whitecaps. And they have, San Jose Earthquakes have played the same amount of games as us. They have 9 wins, 5 draws, and 9 losses. They're not doing too bad, but they're not doing as great. The Sporting Kansas City, based off of that, based off the injuries, they have less injuries, they have a better league standing, they have a better performances against San Jose in the season than the 2 previous matches, and in history they play way better, only have 1 loss to San Jose in the Children's Mercy Park. So it's looking like the odds are stacked against San Jose Earthquakes from this, knock on wood. So now let's talk about my predicted 11 for San Jose Earthquakes in this game. So this is my predicted 11 for San Jose against Sporting Kansas City. As I've already said in the card above, you can see Sporting Kansas City predicted 11, my preferred Excel video where I analyze each player because I actually know the players a lot better, and a video in the card above. But the predicted 11 for San Jose Earthquakes in this match. So I'm not going to be looking at the camera, so look at the screen on the side. I'm going to be putting up the starting 11 as I say them in the formation I have them in, the 3-5-2. I'm going to be reading the names from right to left. So in goal, I have Andrew Tarbell. Then at right center back, I have Kofi Sidorke. And center back middle, Andre Shapiro Bill. I'm mispronouncing the names. I'm butchering them like a cow. So there you go. And then at the right center back is Florian Jungwirth. Is by far, I think, their best center back that they have on their team. I mean, that's the left center back. My bad. The left center back, they have Andrea Wongforth. How you pronounce his name? I think he's the best center back on the team. And then we got the left mid, I believe, is Cordell Cato. I think at center mid will be Jackson Uel, Tommy Thompson, and Shea Shalinas. I think those will be the 3 midfielders. Nick Lima will be at left mid because I'm reading from right to left. And then Danny House and Wondolowski will be this front 2. That writes itself out. Those are the 2 players we got to worry about on the counter. We got to worry about the long through ball over the top, and that's what Sporting Kansas City need to worry about the most. That's how San Jose are definitely going to be looking to score goals, is get those long chip balls, and that's how San Jose is looking to play, is getting long chip balls or running up their wingers and crossing it into the middle. That's how San Jose Earthquakes are try to get a result in this match. They're 28-4, 24-8, and all time against San Jose Earthquakes, so they're pretty even in terms of that. But in everything else, Sporting Kansas City seems to have the favor, and starting 11 and injured suspensions, even though we're missing 1 player. Recent form against them. We talked about all of that. We talked about the starting 11. I believe that they can't use VAR. And now in match previews, I'm going to start doing score predictions, which I haven't been doing in the past. I'm going to maybe change that based off the starting 11 if you see that in my match day experience, but you should go check that out after the game. The next day, I'll have that up sometime. But Sporting Kansas City's starting 11 would affect my decision and San Jose's, but right now I'm going to go with a 2-0 win to Sporting Kansas City. I think the goals will come from Benny Feilhaber and Latif Blessing, assist from Daniel Shallowy off the bench, and the other goal won't be necessarily an assist. So that's what I think is going to happen in the match, and go. Thank you guys for watching. Check out the cards to see my FIFA 17 predicts and the preferred XL versus San Jose Earthquakes in this US Open Cup semifinal. If you enjoyed this video, please leave it a like. Please subscribe if you enjoy the content, as I'm going to keep making videos like this, and in the future more about the Chiefs and Royals as well. Thank you guys for watching, and see you guys later.